Hey everyone, Vin here, and today I'm going to be bringing you all a guide on making money and Escape from Tarkov. I see a lot of videos like this all over the place, Twitch, YouTube, even Facebook, advertising ways to make 1,000,000 rubles per hour or something like that, and having that as their main hook for the video. These guides are absolutely nothing compared to what I have for you all today, so without further delay, let's get into it. Now, before I start the route, or even what map this method is on, I need to state the importance of a good, reliable weapon and a decently protective set of armor. I'm going to show you one of the most cost-effective loadouts in the game, one which I occasionally use when low on money, or if I want to make as much money as possible in a short period of time to fund a giveaway or something similar. And it all starts with one of the most underrated weapons in the game, the Vepr 136, which you can get on the flea market for roughly 18k. Try and get it as intact as possible because you can sell the excess parts back to traders. I'd recommend building it as shown here. You can pause the video in a moment to see the exact parts list. But in total, this build will cost you around 40,000 rubles, which is less than even a Mosin. Yet it has 7.62 by 39 stopping power on semi-automatic with roughly 100 recoil, which is nothing, especially considering the low price of this weapon. This build also has slots for you to attach a small optic and a laser or light should you find them in raid and want to add the upgrade. Now, I'd always recommend bringing in a full set of kit with a weapon, regardless of your financial circumstances, and a great chest rig to do so is this one here from level 2 Ragman. It has level 4 armor with 40 points of durability, and you can fit 4 magazines in there. At level 1 he also has this chest rig available, which also is level 4 and has higher durability, but it's a barter only trade, so it may end up being a little bit more expensive. If you can get it for cheaper, go for it, it's a great chest rig. On top of that, I'd recommend getting a scav backpack, and if you really want, you can splurge a little bit of extra money on a set of headsets. You've got the GSSHs available at level 1 and the Comtex available at level 2 Ragman. You could also go for a cheap helmet if you really want to, like this one, or the 6B, or, yeah, barter or in money. Together, that chest rig and the scav bag are going to cost you roughly 65k. Add that to the gun, and this entire loadout will cost you around 100k. I'd recommend grabbing a couple of these magazines from Prapor because they're incredibly cheap, and 7.62 PS ammo. Now, no one understands how powerful this round is, okay? It is just as good as some of the late game 5.56 ammo. Granted, it has a little bit more recoil, but when it's less than 100 rubles a round and you have access to it at level 1, take advantage of that. Use the out of this ammo. If you can afford it, 7.62 BP is even better, but it's roughly 10 times as expensive. So if you are really, really desperate, go for the PS. It will perform almost as well as the BP. The BP will just help you with those high-end juice lords a little bit better. Now, I'd also recommend getting access to the Red Rebel Ice Pick and a set of Paracord as soon as you can. This will open up a nice little extract for you that's relatively safe, and it doesn't require any button pushing or dropping your backpack or any of those shenanigans, and it just lets you get out smooth and fast when you have an armored chest rig like this. Right, with the meds shown here, this entire loadout will cost you around about 120k. Of course, meds can be kept in your container if you are truly desperate, and you'll end up spending around 100 to 110k on the entire loadout otherwise. Alright, without further ado, let's do it. Let's get into reserve daytime. I'm going to do an offline mode just so I can show you guys the route here. Yeah, let's get in. Now, this is one of the rarer spawns, but we're going to take it anyway. From this side, you want to go straight into the marked room in the basement of this building here. Be warned, this spot is highly contested, both from hatchlings and pistolings, all the way up to full Juice Lord squads. Make sure you cover your back. But when you get down here, you want to get into this room. It's the RBBK key. Get in and out as soon as possible. In this situation, we got a money case and an MPX. Not great, not too bad. It'll do for the example here. Get in, grab the shit, double check to make sure you haven't missed anything, because you can find wallets with red key cards and things like that in, which is insanely valuable. Yeah, we're now done looting this room. We want to get out as soon as possible, and the next place we're going to go to is out here into the courtyard. You would not normally go out here on an online raid. I'm just showing you. It's a little bit more obvious for people. You want to go into the building in front of the helicopter. Now, do be careful of that spot I just aimed at up on the dome. There will most likely be 1 or 2 people up there camping with silent sniper rifles, possibly even with thermals. You want to come into this building and check every single corner you walk past, because people will go to all kinds of lows to camp and get a free kill here. They will hide in the tiniest little darkest corners in this building, because this spot is highly contested. Do be aware of that. But if you manage to get in and out very quickly, you should come out with all the loot. Now, all of these side rooms on the 3rd floor all have good tech spawns. Like this one has a shelf here, the signal transmitter here, that's an easy 100k. There's another couple of spawns on this shelf. And in the next room on the right, again on the shelving, there are a lot of those military tech spawns. There's 3 or 4 of them in this room. And here we go, the military cable, that's another 40k. There's also a PC in this back room here, which you can search and maybe get a graphics card if you're insanely lucky. In this room, you can find military tech spawns on the chairs, on the floor here, on the boxes, and most of these tables in here. In fact, there you go, military circuit board, there you go, another 30k. On that table, you can find them too, on the chair. And these tables spawn a bit of food and drink and stuff. But you want to jump on this window, down and around, and go in. You can also buy the key for this door, but I wouldn't really waste the money on it. This time we got a couple CPUs on this shelf. Nothing on that one. A couple more CPUs and a hard drive. That's weird. It's a lot of CPUs. That shelf's empty, and this one's empty as well. So this is a really, really, really bad example of the loot that can be in here. Because I've come in here before and come out with 3 graphics card and 2 Tetrises all in the same raid. You can get insanely high amounts of money just from this one room, which is why it's so contested. I always check these computers if I have the time. I must have had 4 or 5 raids in the past couple days where a hatchling has come in this room, they've looted the shelves, they got out, and I've checked the PCs and there's been a graphics card. At least 5 or 6 of those raids. It's absolutely hilarious. And when you're done, you want to jump down, land on that dustbin so you don't take any fall damage. Then come back in and go into what I call the mechanic room. You have got 4 military tech spawns on that shelf right there. Got a few random tools on the left as well. This table's full of gun mods. You can get a nice flashlight. Chuck that on the rail on your gun. There you go. Makes things easier. You can get nice suppressors, you can get thermal scopes, all kind of goodies on that table. And you can get these air filters for your hideout, and more importantly, these fire steels. These fire steels are worth 40,000 rubles, and they are only 1 slot. They are one of the best items you can get for this room, and you just want to shove them straight in your gamma. And there you go, you got 40k nice and safe. Now, I know I haven't gammed the most expensive items here. This is just a tutorial run to show you all the loot I could get. Although you do want to make sure you put the most expensive loot in your container first. And if you're done with those 2 rooms and you feel like you want to get some more stuff, or maybe the raid's a bit quiet, or you've heard all the fighting and there's only 1 dude left or something, come over here, and if you go underneath here, the little secret little spot, there's a dead scav in a duffel bag which you can search. But more importantly, in this little vent here, there is a high-end treasure spawn, so you can get things like skull rings, bitcoins, cat statues, lions, chicken statues, even pro-kill medallions, which are really expensive. And there's also another one of that spawn that's usually a chainlet or a gold chain next to the scav. If you want some more juice, you can come into this building here. This is Queen. There is an AK spawn on these chairs, as you can see. And then there are 2 small server rooms in this building. There's this one here. Oh, sorry, there's 3 in this building. Nothing in here this time, I'm afraid, but you can quite commonly get Tetris in here, to be honest. This one here, another military circuit board, another 30k. T-plug. Nothing special so far. Right. This box here, always check this, because you can spawn those Acer meshes there, and they spawn inside the box, so you can't see them. You have to go right up to it to be able to pick it up. The phased array elements, whatever they're called. And if you come back around and go through here, you got the way to go downstairs. Now if you go down here, this room here uses the RBGN key, and in there you can get some more filters, tools, and industrial loot. It's pretty good. I'd recommend it if you have the money. And then you want to go through here, and then you want to jump out the window. And if you want to get even more money, you can go into the third server room of this building. I'm sure most of you know this one by now. Just check all of the racks. There can be electronic spawns pretty much everywhere in this room. This time we don't appear to be getting anything too great. There's barely anything here this time. But in the past I have got 3 or 4 MGTs all from the same raid in this place. It can give you an insane amount of money in here. Now this spawn is a little bit less known, but if you go all the way up to the roof of this building and check these green military crates here on top of them, you can usually find an Iridium or an MGT or something, which is an extra 50-60k. Most people don't know about it. I've seen people walk straight past it and have no idea. And then on these crates here, you can get some nice high-end attachments again. And this shelf can spawn some nice high-end ammo. I've got multiple packets of BS here in one raid before. It's quite good. Always check your jackets, lads. If you see any jackets around anywhere and you've got the time, check them, because that could be the difference between making nothing that raid and getting a 500,000 key out of the pocket. And there you go, bar of chocolate. Also on these roofs, you've got another few green crates here. There's also an SVD spawn on this roof, and there's also one on that roof over there in the little tent, and there's also one on that roof over there on the boxes. I usually don't go for these because they're really rare and it's hard to find. And in the helicopter there are a couple more military crates, and there is an intelligence spawn in there as well. Again, I don't usually loot that because it's so exposed and most people are going to be shooting you the second you go out into the open there. Usually after looting these 2 buildings on the left here, I'd come straight back and around and go up this path on the mountain and go up to the extract. Because if you're really, really wanting to be as time efficient as possible, you loot the marked room, you loot the electronics room, the mechanic room, and then you get out and rinse and repeat. And doing that run, you can quite easily make 500,000 to 600k in 8 to 10 minutes, including loading times. So you can probably do that in about 5 minutes if you load really well, but unfortunately, you know, this is Tarkov, so... but yeah, this run right here, when you come up this path, be very careful, because, again, this is another high spot for campers. People will sit in that dome. You're a lot closer to it now. You'll be a lot easier to hit. There'll be people sitting on this rock here. They quite often like to sit here and camp and wait for you to come around the corner, and then pop, you're dead. They also like to sit on this big rock up here. They'll probably be proned on the top, sniping at someone 2 light years away or something. They'll hear you, they'll stand up, and then they'll mow you down. And you're gone. Time wasted. So be very, very careful. Pre-nade if you have to. And if you spot someone up on this dome, do not run up the road like I just did. As soon as you spot them, go here to the left, get your head down, run around the side, go to this rock, and use this to jiggle peek them. Pop them if you can. If you can't, suppress them to the point where they have to move, and then push and get out. Or you can take the fight completely and push all the way up and kill them. With this weapon, though, you want to stick to medium ranges. That's where you have your advantage. And also, don't drop your mags like I just did, because that kind of ruins the point of a cost-effective build.
Take this, you motherfuckers!
Whenever I come up this way, I like to throw a grenade up into the dome like that, just to make sure that if there are any campers, they get taken out by that, or at least pushed back. If not, you still get the strength XP at the end of the day anyway, so it's definitely worth it. And there you go. I'm just going to do a very quick summary of the raid. I'll see you in a second. Now, luckily for the video here, we didn't do too well this raid. This was a substantially lower end raid for this loadout and for this route. But it just proves the money you can make by doing this method. It is absolutely obscene. This run we got a roughly 750k profit out of that. We didn't really use any ammo or anything, but that you would factor that into your profit usually. In about 10 minutes. So if we were to do that and get that much or more per hour, we'd be making upwards of 4 to 5 million rubles per hour, which is easily much higher than what most people say to do nowadays on their money farming videos. But using this route, not necessarily this loadout, I've made 8 million rubles in one raid before, although I did get a blue key card and a weapon case in that raid from Marked Room. I was incredibly lucky. But if you do this loot run, and if you have the time, you can loot the Marked Room on the other side of the base, but I wouldn't recommend it. That side of the map is a death sentence. Every time I go there, I die, no matter what. Which is why, if you spawn on that side of the map, I would recommend running for that Marked Room, secure container what you can, and then go for a fight, because that's where most of the PvP happens on this map, other than the people intersecting while doing loot runs on this side of the map. That side, you can get a good, nice little fight in, get a few raiders, maybe someone will push the button very kindly for you and give you a free extract. Then you can just get out with a few raiders worth of loot, and then you'll be happy. And then you can just go in and again, and hopefully spawn on the right side of the map this time to do this money farming method. Granted, this loot run is rather inconsistent. You can get anywhere between probably somewhere around 200k to 2 or 3 million, or if you're lucky and get key cards and cases and all that kind of stuff in the Marked Rooms, you could probably get out of this raid with about 25 million if you get, like, let's say a red key card and a weapon case. Now, this run does have incredibly high potential. It can be very risky. It really depends on the raid. But if we take this as an example, we make 750k. If you were to do 5 raids to get this one, and you died in 4 of them, and you extract with the 1, including the 5 loadout cost, that's already 250k profit, which is still nothing to laugh at. And that's saying that you get nothing in your secure container in the raids you die in, which is highly unlikely. You usually end up gammering a little bit of stuff. And with this loadout, if you can gammer something like a Tetris, or even one of these signal transmitters, you've already paid for the loadout. So if you want to, you can then just go and fight, and if you die, then so what? You didn't lose anything. Now, for those of you who wouldn't consider yourself very good at the game, or if you just don't like PvP in general, you don't have to go for a fight. You can just do a little bit of loot. If everything's looted, you can just get out and reset again, and there you go. That's infinite money. Now, what I tend to do, because I consider myself experienced enough in this game, is I'll try and make the cost back from my loadout with loot, and then after that, I'll either go for the next loot spot, if I don't hear anything, but if I hear a fight going on, you can bet your ass I'm going to go over there and kill some people. Or die trying. Right, that's going to do it for this video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you'll make a load of money and enjoy yourselves in Tarkov. If there's anything else you would like to know about the game, feel free to come by my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/xventores. I stream every day, starting roughly between 12 and 1 PM GMT, and go for about 4 or 5 hours. I do not stream Thursdays, though. It'd be great to come see you all hang out and enjoy yourselves. Thanks again. I'll see you next time.